What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and yes, I am back with another Yeezy review, and today I'm reviewing one of the final Yeezy drops of 2020, the Adidas YEEZY 700 V3 Clay Brown. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell down below if you haven't yet, and also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at @RealSethFowler. But today we've got one of the final Adidas YEEZY drops of 2020. I'm not 100% sure if this is the last one. I think there might actually be a pair of Quantum basketballs dropping, but as of right now, there's no release date for that shoe, so this could be the last one. If you're looking to grab one of these sneakers for yourself, the Adidas YEEZY 700 V3 Clay Brown drops on December 21st for a retail price of just $200. I say just $200 because this is really one of the cheapest Yeezy sneakers. And of course, I've left an affiliate link to GOAT in the description below if you want to grab a pair of these early or just check the resale price. So as with many of the recent Adidas YEEZY releases, this shoe did used to be called something else. It wasn't always the Clay Brown colorway. When the shoe was first announced, it was called the Aramil colorway, which is actually apparently the name of the angel who guards hell or Hades. It's a dark name, man, but hey, you know what? The shoe is dark as well, so maybe that's where they got the inspiration. But now the shoe is called the Clay Brown colorway, which I think is a little bit more fitting and a little bit less intense. As you would probably expect, this shoe comes in the standard Yeezy 700 box, and the size tag on the front of the shoe shows you the colorway, which is Clay Brown, Clay Brown, Clay Brown, or as shown on the tag, Clay Brow, Clay Brow, Clay Brow. On the 350s that I just reviewed, I didn't realize that they had mashed the colorways together, but now I get it. So jumping into the sneaker itself, the first thing that you'll notice around the edge of the toe is this thin rubber mudguard. This mudguard comes in black and actually mimics the shape of mudguards on the Quantums and on the 700 V1s and V2s. As you move back on the shoe, a majority of the upper is made up of what Adidas calls monofilament engineered mesh. Now that material is the very thin mesh material that sort of makes up the base layer of the upper. At first, I thought this material was prime knit, but it turns out they actually made a whole new material for this sneaker. And what's nice about this material is that it's thin, it's light, and you can actually weave patterns into it. It does kind of feel plasticky though, and it doesn't have a lot of give, but this shoe really doesn't have much give whatsoever, so you don't even really notice that. As you can see, woven into the mesh of the midfoot, you've got a couple different colors. You've got a dark brown towards the toe of the sneaker, which kind of fades into these lighter tan colored stripes. The pattern of the knit has actually remained the same through every pair of 700 V3s, except of course the color changes. And I know a lot of you guys might be watching this video and thinking, that pair looks exactly like the black pair which just came out, and you know what? You're not wrong. One of the only real color differences between this colorway and that black colorway is really just the stripes on the side of the shoe. Kanye just seems to be like a huge fan of subtle colorway differences. I mean, this shoe looks seriously, almost exactly the same. Resting on top of the monofilament engineered mesh, you've got one of the signature details of the Adidas YEEZY 700 V3, and that's the RPU midfoot cage. This RPU cage has sort of a hard rubber plasticky feel to it, which really is there for containment to hold your foot in place when it's in the shoe. It also kind of gives the shoe a skeletal look, and I know on some of the more bone-colored colorways, it kind of looks like a rib cage. Now the one sort of hidden detail on this RPU cage, just like the other 700 V3s, is that this cage actually glows in the dark. Now I gotta say that I tested the glow in the dark on this shoe, and while it looks like it's glowing like crazy in this picture, in person it really doesn't glow that much. My phone's camera really makes the glow on this shoe look insane, but it's really not that noticeable. I mean, maybe if I let the shoe charge a little bit more in the light, it would have been more bright, but it just really wasn't that intense. I mean, at least not when compared to some of the previous Yeezy releases. It's definitely one of the duller glows out of the 700 V3s. Now personally, I don't really care about the glow in this shoe. It's not something that I ever really notice when I'm wearing the shoe, but hey, you know what? If you're trying to impress your friends with your glowing shoes, you can do that with the 700 V3s. Then moving up on the sneaker, you've got this black textile tongue, which is part of a booty construction, and is also accented by these oddly placed 3M details towards the toe of the sneaker. These 3M details are so subtle, and you can only really see them when you're looking down at the shoe or when you're looking at someone directly in front of you. As with almost every other pair of recent release Yeezys, this shoe features that sort of infinity loop lacing system, which kind of has this endless lace. I mean, it's not actually endless, they just kind of fuse the ends together here at the top of the shoe, and what's kind of nice about it is that all you have to do to tighten the shoe is just pull up on this little tab right here, which actually makes it a much simpler lacing system. But if you do decide to change these laces out, you are given the option and you're given a second set of laces in the box. Unfortunately though, if you do decide to switch to the other laces, you kind of have to cut the factory laces, which kind of sucks. But then moving inside the sneaker, you've got this black sock liner, which is pretty well padded around the ankle area of the shoe. And then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you've got a dark gray Ortholite insole with the Adidas, Ortholite, and Yeezy branding printed on the heel in dark blue. As for sizing and fit, the clay brown colorway of the 700 V3s fit just like every other pair of 700 V3s. Now I've always found these shoes to run a half size small, so I would definitely suggest going up a half size in this shoe, especially if you have wider feet. In that case, I might even suggest going up a full size. It's just with the wraparound booty construction and the RPU cage in the midfoot, there's not a lot of wiggle room in the shoe, and it's already hard enough to get your foot into the sneaker just to have it kind of compressed in the shoe. But as I always suggest, if you have the chance to try this sneaker on first before you buy it, make sure to do that to make sure you're grabbing the right size for you. Then moving down on the sneaker, you've got this dark blue EVA midsole, which is actually encapsulated by this really dark brown foam. Now of course it has to be said that the EVA foam used as cushioning in the midsole of this sneaker is nowhere near as comfortable as Boost. However, I think it's a lot cheaper, and that's why the shoe is $100 cheaper than every other Yeezy 700. Is it uncomfortable though? No, it's just nowhere near as soft as Boost, and if you're used to wearing Boost, this shoe is definitely going to be kind of a letdown. Again though, I think the reason that this shoe is $100 cheaper at retail than the other 700s is because it doesn't have Boost in it. Like I mentioned, the EVA inside the midsole is actually encapsulated by this dark brown foam, which I didn't even realize was dark brown until I got this shoe in hand, because online it kind of looks like a black. I mean, even in hand, it's like hard to even see that it's dark brown unless you have the shoe in the right light. Seriously, when it comes to sneakers, Kanye is like the king of subtlety. He's not subtle in any other part of his life, but when it comes to sneaker colorways, he loves that subtlety. Then moving around to the back of the midsole, you've got an embossed Adidas sportswear logo, and finally finishing off the sneaker, you've got this semi-translucent gum outsole. The Yeezy 700 V3 Clay Brown is definitely a solid 700 V3 colorway, and if you missed out on the triple black colorway, this is not a bad consolation prize. The 700 V3 is definitely one of the most futuristic looking sneakers I think Kanye and really anybody has ever made, which some people love and some people don't. I personally, I'm kind of into it, so it's one of these shoes that I would throw on a pretty regular basis. I definitely think that the dark brown colorway tones down the futuristic aesthetic of this shoe, so if you're trying to grab one of these pairs to rock on a daily basis, this should be a pretty easy pair to wear around. So again, if you're trying to grab a pair of the Clay Brown 700 V3s, they drop on December 21st. But now I would love to know your thoughts on this sneaker and whether you're planning to grab a pair of these, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.